There he is. You know, we were a little premature last week when we said that Brendan had a new microphone, but now we're not because
Okay.
it is legit. You want to show them what you have just to let all of our fans know who have been concerned that they weren't hearing you clearly or that your audio was not up to snuff to mine.
Listen, I got the real microphone now. Now,
Look at that.
now here's the thing. It might not be hooked up properly because my son helps me with all electronics and he's getting a haircut right now. But I guarantee you, the sound will be better, even better next week because I had to do this myself, and I'm not the most. I'm not the best when it comes to technology.
Technically, yes, yes. The
I'm
expertise.
technically deficient.
There you go. There you go. The
Yeah.
technology's little shortcomings there. All right, let's jump into it. I'm obviously I'm working with some lighting issues here. We'll get into that some other time. So LeBron James makes his season debut for the Los Angeles Lakers, and they win going away against the Utah Jazz. Your biggest surprise in seeing what you saw with LeBron James back with the Lakers?
There wasn't really a big surprise. I mean, they're playing against the Utah Jazz. LeBron fit in. You know, he had the 12 assists, he had the double double. He didn't come out here trying to be LeBron James of old. And LeBron's a very smart basketball player. So I wasn't, and he's trying to get in shape. He's trying to feel his way through this new situation. So I
Mm.
wasn't surprised at the outcome at all, especially against the type of opponent that it was in the Utah Jazz. But as the year goes along, I got to see how does this work. How does LeBron feel about possibly being the third option on this team? And then, more importantly, when they play against the high level wings, who's going to guard? Which
Yeah.
one of these guys? Like, they play OKC, who's guarding SGA?
Yeah.
Who's guarding Ant Man when they play Minnesota? And those are going to be the key things that I'm looking at.
Yeah. No, I was interested to see who made room for him, like whose minutes were reduced, whose handling of the ball was reduced, and it was Austin Reeves and Marcus Smart. And while I give credit to everyone for kind of seamlessly taking someone with as big a presence as LeBron and kind of fitting him in, and everybody was trying to make it work as well as possible. I mean, on the first play, Luka Doncic is trying to throw a cross court pass to LeBron in the other corner. There was just it was clear what they were all in and they were trying to make it work. I just in the big picture, what I saw, and you're going to call me a hater on this, but
Oh, Lord.
it LeBron looked as old as I've ever seen him, and
He's 40, about to be 41.
40, about to be 41 years old. I'm not discounting that. It just guys were blowing by him. It was like he was playing at a different speed, and we've seen at times he picks his spots, but I've never seen it so prevalent. And I give it to at least partly to the fact that everybody's been playing for a month. He hasn't. He's stepping in. He is 40, going on 41, but it just like there's going to be a ramp up there for him. And I just wonder when you're taking the ball out of Austin Reeves' hands as a playmaker and you're cutting down the minutes of Marcus Smart, who I would argue, and you can disagree, is a better defensive presence than LeBron James at this stage of their respective careers.
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
Okay. So is that and this is difficult, is that what's best for the Lakers? It sounds really weird, but Austin Reeves is going to get into the paint. LeBron is in that old guy. I'm going to stand at the top. I'm stationary, and I'm looking for cutters. Still has the floor vision. Still effective. I just wonder in the big picture, like, is as much as everybody's trying to make it work, is it going to work?
Is it going to work as far as possibly winning some regular season games, making the playoffs? I believe that can happen. Luka's that good. Austin Reeves is playing great. JJ Redick is a great coach. LeBron still has a little bit of juice left. If we're talking about is it going to work as far as what Laker Nation is what is used to, hanging banners? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You got three cones on defense. You talked about LeBron's defense. Luka's not guarding anybody. Austin Reeves isn't guarding anybody. You got to make room for LeBron, which cuts down on Marcus Smart's minutes. He's your best wing defensive player. Ergo, there's your problem. To make room for LeBron, you have to take away your best defensive player. When you play the teams with good wings and good point guards, even if you're playing against a team like Denver, we know Jokic is the guy. Well, who's guarding Jamal Murray? It's always going to be a weak defender. They're going to attack that. They're going to attack said defender in the middle of the court. And based on the fact that whether it's Luka, LeBron, or Austin Reeves, the team's going to get whatever they want to in a playoff series. The way to beat the Lakers, you can see it in November. We ain't even cut the turkey yet. It ain't even Thanksgiving, and the game plan for how to beat the Lakers is in a playoff series is already set. We're gonna make one, two, but possibly all three of these guys guard, and then on top of that, we'll put them in the pick and roll, and it'll be Luka or LeBron combined with DeAndre Ayton on the backside of that pick and roll. And Ayton has played solid, but we don't think he's an excellent pick and roll big man. So now it becomes really problematic over how the Lakers are going to guard. The Lakers' problem is going to be guarding the ball come May.
Here's my question, though. Can they, when they play teams that are better than the Utah Jazz, which is going to be the majority of teams in the NBA, are they actually better with LeBron James, considering that you're taking Marcus Smart off the floor and you're taking the ball out of Austin Reeves' hands?
Man, listen, the answer is it doesn't matter because he has to play. He's making $50 million. His name is LeBron James. He has to play. He has to play. Whether you think they're better with him or without him.
But I'm asking you because I look at it and it's difficult. Look, I don't like, as much as you think I like hating on LeBron, it's hard for me to say that the team is actually better without him. But when I look at the particulars of with this Lakers team, what you have to do, if you needed just a playmaker, like I'd say, get LeBron out there. He can still do all of that. But the cost of playing him takes away some things that have been working for you really well to this point. And that's where, as difficult as it might be to say or accept, I could make a very strong case that they are better without LeBron James.
Listen,
and I know you're probably not going to co-sign that.
I think that you could co-sign that this team is better constructed for a defensive player to be in LeBron James' spot. Yeah, I don't even think that's a
that's not even a sensational statement.
You have Luka, who is playing sensational, and we know that he can be a scorer or a playmaker. You have a secondary option that's playing well in Austin Reeves, who's getting in the paint, hitting his shots, and doing what he does. Do you need another playmaker or do you need a wing defender? What's more important? We all know wing defense, because your wing defense sets the tone for what it's going to look like on the backside. Your wing defenders get up into guys, make them take 1 to 2 extra dribbles, which gives your weak side defenders a better chance to block shots, rotate, and things of that nature. It all starts with the wing defense. If you're getting beat off the first dribble, the rest of your defense is going to get killed. You getting beat off first dribbles and swipe throughs and getting right to the cup, your defense is going to be non-existent. Guys are too fast and too quick. So your wing defense, they call, I forgot the technical term that they use right now, but your on-ball defenders, they have a new fancy name that they use in the basketball NBA world now. But your on-ball defenders set the tone for what your defense is going to be.
Yeah, we saw some of that even with the Utah Jazz. We saw some of that. We saw some direct line.
I know the term. They call it the point of attack defender. That's the new thing. Yeah. Point of attack defender. Whatever.
Right. No doubt that's where they're going to struggle. But let's say for conversation's sake, they're going to, and as you said, they're going to do this. He's going to play. Can LeBron be satisfied with the role that he had against the Utah Jazz, which was certain times in the game, we're taking Luka off the floor. We're going to allow you to be the primary ball handler. But 7-8, what he had 7-8 shots. It was all playmaking. And this is, I will say this is the brilliance of LeBron is like, he wasn't even thinking about the one thing Utah does is they rebound well. So he's like, I'm not going to worry about that. You know what they don't do well? They don't play good team defense. So if our guys are moving, I can load up on assists. And by the way, I only had 6 going in the fourth quarter. Let me clean that up a little bit. Let me go get 5 or let me get another half dozen in the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter so that I walk away with a double-double.
Sounds like you're accusing him of stat padding. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
No.
Sounds like that's what I'm just telling you what it sounds like.
No, this is what it is. It's the brilliance of LeBron at this stage of his career. You said it once that what made LeBron different than KD was that KD could dominate as a scorer. LeBron, in his heyday, could decide which part of the game am I going to dominate. Now he's at a stage where he looks at the other team and he goes, what don't they do well? What can I exploit? And that's what he did with the Utah Jazz. It was like, you know what? I can get a double-double. It's not going to be rebounds and points. It's going to be assists because all I got to do is look for cutters. All my guys just need to move. I can take a guy off the dribble now and then. I'm going to find people. I'm going to put Yusuf Nurkic in the pick and roll. I'm going to have a field day on that. That's the brilliance of LeBron James, so that even at 40, he puts out a box score that looks impressive and makes a contribution.
LeBron James is smart. LeBron James knows how to help a basketball team. We understand where he is right now. He's not the same LeBron James. Hey, man, Father Time comes for all of us, and Father Time is coming for Braun right before our eyes.
Yeah.
He knows how to pick his spots. He knows how to play smart basketball. He knows how to take advantage of certain younger guys. He can still use his strength to post up. But at the end of the day, trying to figure out how to make this work against high-level ball clubs is going to be problematic. And it starts on the defensive end. And then when you're putting the ball in Luka's hands, how many spot-up jumpers are you going to hit? See, Luka needs you to create the space now. When it used to be the other way around, you need a guy to create space for you. And these are going to be the things that the Lakers are going to find out. And it's early. It's early. If anybody is capable of making this adjustment, it is LeBron.
Yeah.
He's probably, when he comes down to all-around basketball, he is probably, without question, the best all-around basketball player to ever come in the NBA. That don't make him the GOAT. I'm just saying all around, like, it can be a defensive night, it can be a scoring night, it can be an assist night, it can be rebounds, it can be steals. There hasn't been probably a player ever this complete. So now he has to lean into the fact that he's been able to do everything, and then in his mind try to figure out, how do I use that to help me win basketball games? And I'll give an example. Jason Kidd in 2011 wasn't the same Jason Kidd, but he still knew how to pick his spots. He worked consistently on being able to hit the corner three. He knew guys were going to leave him open. He had to hit those shots. And he semi-reinvented himself to win that championship. Because the Jason Kidd that went to the finals in 2011 wasn't the same Jason Kidd that went to the finals with the Nets.
Not at all.
Exactly. But he was smarter. He knew where to pick. He knew, hey, man, JJ Barea is going to take some of my minutes. I'm not Dirk doesn't need me creating all this offense for him. Jason Terry's going to get a certain amount of shot. And he found a way to make it work. I saw Jason Kidd do it. I have the belief that LeBron can do it. The only difference was at that stage, because J. Kidd wasn't 40, he was still a pretty good defender. Yeah. He was still he still could still defend to a certain degree. And
he defended LeBron in that finals.
Well,
LeBron and D Wade.
Oh no. He didn't. Hey, J. Kidd, my guy. But D Wade was the problem. Like, that's actually what happened. We had to.
Well, no, he was on LeBron though in that series.
Rick, he started off on D Wade. D Wade hooked J Kidd up to a Ford F-150 and drug him around the gym, and we had to pull him off. So we were like, no, this is not. I mean, D Wade was cooking that series,
Yeah.
and so then we put him on LeBron, and we put Sean Marion on J
Right.
Kidd on D Wade. We needed to go with a bigger defender because he was posting our guards up, so we had to put a bigger body on him.
Yep. Yep. No, I remember that. I remember that now. I was there for all of it. I even did the cryptotherapy with you guys, and I was in the gym a couple times with Jay and Jamana when he was working he was shooting threes and she was rebounding for him. That's a whole other story.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to, there's no question that LeBron has the capability, but J Kidd at that point, and J Kidd never, it's going to sound weird, never had, I don't know, it's ego or need for attention. I don't want to be disrespectful, but Jay never demanded the spotlight the way LeBron does. That's where I think the struggle is. Not that he's not capable of still being a big contributing factor and figuring out a way to fit in. It's a matter of, is he going to be okay and comfortable basically being a third wheel?
Listen, only LeBron James can answer that question.
Yeah.
We've never seen him in a third wheel role. Every time he's gone somewhere, everybody says, okay, we got to make this guy the lead or it won't work. And so now that we're looking at a different aspect, a different side of LeBron, it comes down to, how is he going to make this work from an IQ standpoint? How are the Lakers going to make this work from a defensive standpoint? I keep coming back to the same thing. Mm-hmm. You can be as smart as you want to be. And I use the example of Jason Kidd, and I said, hey, we had to take Jason Kidd off of a certain matchup and put Sean Marion on that matchup. Here's the problem with the Lakers. When you have LeBron James, Luka, and Austin Reeves, if one guy's not playing the matchup well, you have to take one of those guys off the court to bring your defensive guy in. Yeah. That's the problem. It's like, okay, if Luka's having a hard time guarding somebody, we can't take Luka off that guy and put LeBron on him at 41. That ain't going to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. That is the problem with this team makeup right now, is we got three guys that flourish with the rock in their hands. One of them's 41. Nobody plays any defense. That's eventually going to catch up with you. When your three best scorers don't guard, teams just play. They play pick me. Hey, who we gonna pick? We gonna pick him. And I just did. I just did the Georgetown Clemson game.
Yep.
And I got a chance to talk to Coach Cooley. Great dude. Coach Cooley is one of the best and coolest coaches ever. And he just simply said, yeah, man, like sometimes, man, there's these guys, there's certain guys that we're looking for, and we call them Waldo on defense. Where's Waldo? You find that guy, you find that matchup, and you make them feel it. Yeah. The problem with the Lakers, they got three Waldos, and everybody knows where they at.
Now, is Coach Cooley cool with just going at a particular matchup and beating the stuffing out of it? Because that's the one thing I've seen with college coaches is, for whatever reason, they don't exploit a weakness the way that in the NBA, if there's a weakness, we're going to pound it until you guys make an adjustment and force something else to happen. College, it seems like they'll do it a couple times, and then they got to, for some reason, spread the wealth.
In college, they get a system, and most teams run that system. Where Coach Cooley is a little bit different is, if he finds a matchup, he'll keep attacking it. Mm-hmm. If he switches to a zone, or he'll give you a bunch of different man-to-man looks and pick and roll coverage. Whatever you don't do well, he'll find a way to exploit that. He uses more of an NBA feel. But I agree with you. There's a lot of college coaches that they'll score on a pick and roll, and the next time they won't run it. Or like if their offense is the flex offense, they might get, like I said, they might score for quick post up, but they're gonna come back and run the flex. To a certain degree, a lot of college coaches, they coach to their ideals sometimes and not the strength of the matchups. if that makes any sense. Like, hey, they have these principles that they ingrain and they preach to the players every
Yeah.
day, and they try to get these high-end players to play hard, and that's what they do. And then there's certain coaches, they're able to mix and match, morph the offense, switch. Like Jim Boeheim's an incredible coach, no disrespect at all. But over the last 30 years of his career, you telling me he didn't want to go man to man not one time? Like it's just one of those things that college coaches coach what they know. They coach what they do. Like, hey, my man, at some point, maybe we should go full court press man to man and just see what it looked like. For 30 years, Syracuse played zone. Think about that. For 30 years. I didn't say 30 games. I said 30 years. Like that's just the difference between the college game and the NBA game.
It is. It's why I loved the college game initially. When I first, started in the business, like covering the NCAA, covering March Madness, covering college basketball, that was the dream. And then I got a taste of watching the NBA on a regular basis, and I couldn't go back to college because there were so many things. I was like,
go back this year.
You're not really playing the game.
Go back this year. Hey, listen. College basketball is back. They got some dogs out there this year. They got some dogs now. Rick. They got. Hey, listen. This draft class is going to be like that. It's going to be like that. Unfortunately for the NBA, this class is stacked, and somehow, some way, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they're going to get all.
They're going to get another lottery pick. It's crazy. Man,
and don't think that's by accident.
Sam Presti's the best GM of all time. I don't care what nobody say.
Jerry West, I've always taken my hat off to you. Pat Riley, you've done your thing. Nobody's holding a candle to Sam Presti, at least from what he's doing right now and what he has set up. Like you look down the tunnel and you're like, when are they not going to be good? He's got a great team and he's got all of the assets that he needs to keep it great going forward. No doubt. One more thing on the Lakers before we move on, which is both Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are getting to the free throw line as much as anybody in the league. Both are top 5. Both are just so smart in drawing fouls. It kind of drives me crazy, actually. Right? Because they do the same stuff to the defenders over and over and over again. At some point, I'm going to you know what? Make the shot. I'm not going to get you to the line. Make the shot. And make the shot once.
So let me get this straight. And this was my problem last year with all the SGA haters.
Yeah.
A guy figures out a way
Yeah.
to get to the free throw line at an elite clip.
Yep.
He's not cheating. He's playing within the playing within the rules. Yep. And you want him to switch that up and give away those free points. Why?
No. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at Austin. I'm not mad at Luka. I'm mad at the defenders who can't stay down. I'm mad especially Austin. I'm
Rick,
surprised at how much respect Austin gets from the referees because, Luka creates contact with his physicality. Austin, he's just a magician, man.
Man, listen, it sounds easy to say, man, stay. I've seen it 1,000 times. We play against Kobe. We play against Kobe, and our coaches would, hey guys, young guys especially, stay down on the pump fake. He'd pump fake once, pump fake twice. He'd have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
He'd sell him with his eyes, look up, pump fake that third time, they jump. It's easy until you get out there, you're on an island.
I agree.
And you got 25,000 looking at you. You're trying to figure it out, and you just go for that pump fake, or you reach in for the steal, and they see you reaching, and they just they rip through your arms. I don't know how many times Tim Duncan got me with that same move. I would reach in, and he would just the little swipe through. That's literally where KD got it from. Tim Duncan was the one doing it first. So it's like, man, it's just one of those things that players that are elite, that have the ball a lot, that know how to get fouled. That's what this game has always been based on. Like, if you go back and look at some of the best scorers in the league history, they was all getting to the free throw line 8, 9, 10 times a game. It's hard to average 30 shooting four free throws. It's
I
hard.
feel yeah, but there's a different the flopping and the exaggeration today is more than we've ever seen. And the referees buy into it. And again, I'm not faulting Austin and Luka. And yes, I know it's so much. It's so easy for me to say here, like just stay down, make them shoot over you, don't bite, like all of that. I understand how difficult all that is. It's just watching it happen over and over again. You're like, could we just not?
Hey, it looks easy until you out there on the court, and then that's when
Yeah,
you get the fouling. So
yeah.
I actually respect guys that go get the fouls. I hated all of that.
What just
Shade
lay down?
shade.
I mean, rather than the guys who kind of just sit down and don't contest it.
Yeah, I know. I just hated the fact that I hate when the people just complain about it. Like I hated the negative stereotype that went with Shea last year. I didn't like that at all.
Well, and it's
At
still, I
all.
mean, it's going on, which is interesting because it, like, normally you get to the playoffs or it's a little bit of a red flag when a guy is shooting as many free throws as shaded. It didn't drop off in the playoffs, and we've seen it drop off with other guys. James Harden being the biggest example. With Luka and with Austin, can they sustain this in the postseason at the rate or the clip that they are getting free throws now?
I think they can because it's so like first of all they're so smart. A guy like Luka is so smart, and then he's so hard to guard. So when he sets you up, and all the moves look alike, and next thing you know, he's getting to a step back, and he's hit the last two out of three. So you want to close that gap just a little bit. And this time, when he crosses over and creates the space on the step back, he pump fakes, and you jump into him.
Yeah,
And these are all calculated reads. These guys that get fouls, for the most part, this ain't the James Harden foul gimmick stuff like that he was doing at the 3 point line. These
right.
guys are actively making reads. They're setting you up. They're from everything from when they go through the lane, they have the low dribble. They're holding the ball. They're holding the ball extended low. So if you reach, you hit their arms. They're coming up through. They have the step backs with the pump fakes. They have
Yeah.
the head. They have all the moves that set you up that bait you into these fouls, and it's a skill set. People don't want to admit it, but it's a skill set. All your favorite players that were scorers for the most part, go back and look how many times Michael Jordan used to go to the free throw line. Kobe Bryant, like dog, these guys that are scorers, they live at the line. That's what good scorers do. They
Yeah.
figure out how to get 8, 9, 10 points at the free throw line because now, even on a night where they're not shooting well, they still have a big time scoring impact.
You know, the distinction that I think you just made me aware of is in looking at the way James drew fouls and the way that Shea, Luka, and Austin, for the most part, all draw fouls, is they are making a move into a shot and they're creating contact as they go into that shot. I got the feeling in a lot of situations, James was just going for the contact
Right.
and then would add the shot afterwards. So when they got to the playoffs, we'll give you the foul, but we're not giving you the shooting foul.
Yeah, and then
And
like
so,
James was doing the thing where he would be like shooting and then like gliding into you. Like he would
yeah,
shoot at the 3 point line, and then he would end up inside the 3 point line trying to get fouls. And listen, they can say whatever they want to. Everybody and their mama know the regular season is officiated differently from the postseason,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you have to be able to adjust. And guys like Shea, we've seen Luka go to the finals before. He's adjusted. He understands what it is. You know, like so. I think those guys would be just fine drawing fouls. They're different than James Harden in that aspect. They all those guys draw fouls, but Luka, Shea, some of those guys, they're in a different world as opposed to James Harden drawing in the way he drew his fouls.
This is the one element that could work against Luka,
What's that?
particularly when it gets to the playoffs, and you have all the veteran and best referees. Luka is on them all the time. He was on them in that Utah Jazz game, and he's getting every call he could ask for. I mean, it doesn't matter whether he's getting calls or not. He seems to always be working the referees in not just working them, but doing it in a disrespectful way. Like the look that he has, I'm telling, I've way back in the day when they started what was the D League. I did a piece for ESPN, the magazine, where I went and I worked as a referee. I went into that camp and I actually worked a couple games. And so I got to know those guys and how they approach things. And as with anybody in anything, like you can say, we're going to be perfectly objective. We're not going to, personalities, all that. We're going to put that aside. If someone is always giving you a hard time and disrespecting how you do your job, at some point, you're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. At some point, they're going to pay a price for that. And that's what I wonder whether Luka is setting himself up for.
It's a possibility. The bigger problem for me is with Luka is just going to be, if you watch what happened to him in the Boston series in the finals, you kind of figure out what you have to do to beat Luka. And the officials have their. If you watch what happened in Boston 2 years ago was very interesting to me because I watched Boston basically beat Luka in a way that I didn't realize that was the way to beat him until they did that. They basically said the way to beat Luka is to let Luka cook. Let him get 50 if he wants to get 50.
Yes.
And you have to have a certain level of defender. You have to have really good defenders, right?
So you can make it hard for him to get that 50.
You want to basically what the Boston Celtics did to Luka, and anybody that thinks I'm wrong, go back and look at the film. They took away the lobs and the corner threes, and they allowed that. So all those lobs and dunks they were getting, they said, no, we're not going to allow you to choose what type of night it's going to be. You're not going to choose whether you're a passer or a scorer. You're a scorer, okay? You score. We're going to make sure that you score. When you get the ball, you're trying to score. And we're going to guard you one-on-one, and we don't care if you hit shots. And then after you go give 75 dribbles to get to your step back, then we're going to put you in the action and we're going to make you guard. That is the way to beat Luka. You don't allow him to get the corner threes to his teammates. You don't allow him to get lobs. You make him play one-on-one, and then on the other end, you put him in the action. And that's why a team like OKC, they're a great team. They will walk the dog on the Lakers if they see them in the playoffs. Because they can throw Case and Wallace at him. They can throw Lou Dort at him. When they get J-Dub, they can throw J-Dub at Luka. I'm forgetting my boy off the bench, with the headband. I can't think of his name right now. Caruso. They can throw. That's four guys that they can throw at him and say, hey, we're going to leave all you guys on the island. Even when they run a pick and roll, check. We want you to switch, play one-on-one. Go ahead. Take all the step backs, work as hard as you want to, and then on the other end, we're going to put you in the action. It's hard to get 50, and then they're putting you in all the action. That's a tough way to live. Go back, and if it worked against Luka, you know who else it worked against? It worked against Jalen Brunson last year in the Pacers series. Yeah. It's really, really hard to put so much effort into offense and do everything, and then come right back and not get a rest and be forced to play defense at that level. That's hard to do, and that's how you beat a guy like Luka.
That is the distinction between LeBron James and a Luka Doncic, in that LeBron James physically could handle carrying all that offensive load, and he could still be respectable at the defensive end while doing that. You weren't going to pick on him defensively, right?
Nah. You like I said, you wouldn't pick like you're not going to say, okay, in this prime, we're going to come back and go at LeBron. That's a net negative. That's a net negative. So basically, then based on how the roster was constructed, LeBron would get to go out there and dominate the ball offensively, and then he could hide defensively. That's key. Like that's why Shea gets to play. Like Shea can go out there and do everything offensively, and defensively he gets to hide because there's so many high-level defenders. Now Shea can defend, and that's another aspect of it. We don't want to just go at this guy because he guards well, you know.
So we can just go over here. Yeah.
Yes, you can. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the people.
Hey.
Say hello. Okay, all right, baby. Yes, you can have a snack. A daddy's work is never done.
I hear you, bro. I know that well. I know that well. Yeah, that's the distinction. That's where Luka's conditioning. It's not even conditioning. Like he has to play at a certain pace in order to be able to sustain all that he does for as much as he handles the ball. You also need guys that are comfortable around him, not seeing the ball, not touching the ball, the majority of possessions consistently through a game. And that you as you well know, like finding guys that are comfortable with that on a regular basis, those guys are hard to find.
Yeah, being okay waiting in the corner, not getting the rock, never getting the chance to create your own shot. In transition, the ball never gets kicked up ahead so you can score on your own every once in a while. That's a tough way to play. And
Mm.
truthfully, most guys don't like playing like that. They
Yeah.
won't say it, but most guys don't like, and that's why the really, really smart guys, like you'll see LeBron in this, and he'd kick it ahead. He'd let certain guys get to eating because he understands I'm going to have the ball all the time anyway. So he would
Mhm.
throw the ball ahead and let a guy get a transition layup or one on his own. Jay Kidd was the king of doing that in his prime. He would kick that thing up ahead to guys like Richard Jefferson and Kerry Kittles and all those guys on the wing.
Yep.
They would be scoring so much in transition. You know, like, oh man, like Steve Nash would kick it ahead. Man, the hardest dude to guard on Phoenix back in the day with Steve Nash was Amari Stoudemire because Steve Nash would kick the ball ahead and he would be running at you with a head of steam trying to get to that right hand and dunk it on you. It's like you got to do that, and Luka doesn't. And in the past, when he's been challenged by his teammates to do it, he's kind of had some comments that were a little bit disrespectful towards him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the Lakers. Right now, things are solid, but we'll see how things go on the second
Yeah,
half of the season.
I agree. The drama is going to be interesting. This is going to be a season long. And they're rolling right now. Wait till they
Right.
hit like a 4-game losing streak, which every team
Oh,
does at some point. How are they going to how are they going to handle that? Which direction are they going to go? That's going to be the challenge. The team that hasn't hit a 4-game losing streak yet this season over in the East is the Detroit Pistons. And I'm curious. I've been on them from last year. I saw the building blocks there. I like what they have. I was on the Cade Cunningham train early. I wonder for you, when you look at them leading the East and what the Cleveland Cavaliers did last year, leading the East and then fading in the postseason, are the Detroit Pistons this year's Cleveland Cavaliers, or can they be something more than that?
oh. I think that the Detroit Pistons can be something more than what we saw from the Cleveland Cavaliers because I believe in Cade Cunningham that much.
Hmm.
Um, Cade Cunningham is different than Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying he's better, but he's different. Go look at Cade Cunningham averages about 9 assists. Now I know he had the game a couple games ago where he shot 40 something times, didn't shoot a good percentage, and he could actually clean up some of his percentages on the season. But the thing about Cade is he's made out of the right type of stuff to win playoff series when we're talking about playing deep into May and into June.
Hmm.
You're talking about a guy 6'8", got the size, big point guard. This scoring ability in the game to get it done on his own at all three levels. The passing ability to activate his big men and guys on the weak side. And then the smarts to know what type of game it's going to be and what type of situation it is. And that's where I like Cade Cunningham growing up right before our eyes.
Hmm.
I know, and I think that Cade Cunningham and this Detroit team, I think they can make some noise. The East is very wide open. Like I said, Boston isn't the same. Boston, obviously, Milwaukee isn't the same as what we thought they were going to be a couple of seasons ago when they traded for Dame. The Knicks are still trying to figure it out. I could see, like, if you told me Detroit made a run to the finals and Cade Cunningham was playing at an elite level in the playoffs, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Got like guys with Cade Cunningham's mismatch ability, they're the toughest guys to guard in the playoffs. And that's no disrespect to a guy like Donovan Mitchell. But Donovan Mitchell can only beat you one way: scoring the basketball. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna go into a playoff series and think to yourself, man, Donovan Mitchell averaged 12 assists this series. That's not his game. His game is to score. Guys like Cade Cunningham, I always say it. Listen, guys that are more than scorers, guys that are playmakers. Playmakers are so much harder to guard than scorers because they can figure out what type of night it's going to be.
Yeah.
They got three guys in the paint. I'm gonna activate the weak side tonight, and I'm gonna let those guys hit shots and see what happens. Man, I'm gonna throw the lob up to my big fella and let him dunk a few times because that weak side guard, he's been hanging in the corner too long, and I see I can get lobs. And then in the flip of an instant, oh, now they're guarding like they're supposed to. Now I go become a scorer. Guys that are scorers are just trying to figure out, how do I get to my next shot? And that's a different mentality. And it can work, but the guy that's picking his spots, the guy that's a playmaker, he's a lot harder to guard.
Question I have, just because it's the lack of experience that the Pistons have in the postseason in terms of going anywhere, and I wonder, and I'm sure you've experienced this. You've been in the locker room with someone who has been there before, when the majority hasn't. And I'm always curious about this because we talk about this a lot. Like, they got to get somebody who's, we always talk about the number of playoff games guys have played and playoff experience. This guy's been to the finals. Like, what value does that have? How does it translate to having a guy who has been there before? How's that conveyed? What value does that bring to the rest of the team?
So when you have experience, it's just like anything else. Experience is the best teacher. And especially what you really want to do is you want to have a guy that's experienced. He might not be a starter, but he's still able to play. That way, guys will really listen to his voice. And if you want to see how valuable championship experience is and understanding, go back and look at OKC. Go back and look at OKC. Who was the defensive player with championship experience that made the difference in that series against Denver? Caruso. You got to have a guy that's like, hey, listen, this is what we got to do. I know we just lost last game. Listen, these games, momentum comes and goes. It's a little bit different. The officials are officiated differently. I've been in these situations. This guy can lead with his experience. He can also lead by example. It's a difference. It's a difference when you got to hit shots in the regular season and it's game, 65 on a soft Tuesday, as opposed to it's game 6. We're down. It's game 6. We're down. We're down in the game. We need to win this to force game 7. And I'm the guy that's open in the corner. Have I been here before? Do I have the confidence? Do I know what that feels like?
Yeah.
If we're talking about, let's use Caruso as an example. It's game 7. We need you to go out there and guard Jokic. Who? Yeah, Jokic. Hell, that guy. We need you to front him. He has all the experience. Okay, I've had to front guys before, 3/4 them. I've had to get up into guys before. I've seen all these defensive coverages you're asking me to do. I've done it. I've done it at a high level. I've had these high-level playoff moments. I understand that the officials call the game a little bit differently. I can get a little bit more physical in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. All those little things add up over time. Now, just because you have experience doesn't mean you're going to win. But that experience can definitely help a locker room because it can give guys more information and it can give guys more confidence.
Is there a value in those guys during the course of the regular season as well, as you're building toward trying to make a run? And if so, how does that translate? What does a guy like that know and able to tell everyone else that if he wasn't there, guys would be flying a little more blind?
Okay, so a guy with championship experience, first of all, has the cachet to say things to the locker room sometimes that other guys can't. He can convey the message from the coaching staff better to the young guys. And more importantly, he can call out things that he doesn't think is sustainable, even though you're winning. And that's huge. That's
Mm.
huge. So it's like,
Mm.
yeah, I know we've won 3 games in a row, but
Yeah.
we've played 3 lottery teams. That defense is not good enough. That closeout isn't good enough. Hey, the ball movement right now isn't crisp enough. And he can go back and say, listen, guys, I've been in championships for this team and that team. I'm telling you right now, what we do in November and December, our habits will show in May. This ain't good enough. And when
Yeah.
it comes from a guy that is highly respected, that's won a championship, and can still get out there and show that he can play, a lot of times the young guys follow along. Now, if you got a guy telling you all this stuff and he ain't getting on the court, they're looking at him with the side eye like, man, shut up. You ain't taking your warm up off. But but
Yeah.
if you got a guy that's going to get out there and actually play, and he can walk it like he talks it, man, that means everything, man. It just does. Guys respect the real, and you can spot the real from the fake a mile away. And when
Yep.
somebody just says something to you like, young fella, that ain't gonna cut it, and then they show it to you on film, and then he reiterates it again, like, yo, the coaching staff ain't tripping. That closeout isn't good enough. And OG, you know what I'm saying? And then they start listening, and that's just how you need guys with that type of experience, because they can help your locker room. And then in a lot of those big time moments, since they've been there before, they don't have that same level of anxiety.
You know who that happened to, where they had a false sense of being better than they actually were, or playing better than they actually were playing?
Who's that?
The Golden State Warriors, the 73 win Golden State Warriors. Remember, Steve Kerr missed like a big part of that season because he had an issue with
His back or
a
something?
spinal. Yeah, he had
Yeah,
a spinal fluid leaking from
that's never good.
his vertebrae, which just sounds awful. But and Luke Walton took over, and I was around that team, and I had people telling me like they were they were winning everything, that there's slippage here. Like we're falling off from where we were last year when we made our run, particularly defensively. They were just overwhelming teams offensively, but they weren't playing at the same level with the same sort of execution. And there were people in the organization that were like, we're not as good as we think we are. And ultimately, there's a lot of things that happened in the finals that led to them being upset. But the idea that they weren't quite as good as their record would have suggested, and that maybe what's interesting is that they were defending champions, but they were winning so much. And I don't know if you ever experienced it, but like, it's hard when you're winning to say, like, to set your own standard, like not to judge the scoreboard, not to judge your record, and to say, this is the level of play we have to be at in order to go where we want to go.
Yeah, that's the thing for the really good teams. The regular season is basically like practice with 20,000 people watching you.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the really good teams, they know they're going to be there. And sometimes the execution is worth more than the result. Because if you're a team like OKC and you get a win and you're not playing defense, it's like, hey man, we just beat the Sacramento Kings, but we know they ain't gonna be here in the end. We can't play like this. And then some nights you'll play, if you're a team like OKC, you'll play really, really good defense, and the team is just knocking down shots, and you'll say, yeah, they took the shots we wanted and they hit them, but
Right.
we understand that if there ever is such thing as a good loss, that's a good loss.
Yep.
The good teams don't judge themselves on the wins and losses. They judge themselves on execution and how much they're getting better throughout the course of the season. That's
Hmm.
what, like those teams that understand we gonna be here. Like
Hmm.
playing on that team in Cleveland with LeBron, like the confidence, LeBron just felt like, yo, no matter where we fit in the pantheon of all these teams, we gonna be there in the end. It's very important that we figure out our pick and roll coverage, which was key to that Cleveland run in 2015. Ty Lue made a change to the pick and roll coverage, and that we went from being a team that liked to show out to a team that ran a drop coverage, and that did wonders for us. And then we got better and better at that drop coverage as the year went along, and we went from a 500 ball club to a team that was in the top probably 2 or 3 in the Eastern Conference, and then went on to the finals.
Why
But
did
it
that?
started.
Why did that have such an effect on you guys?
Oh, so because we were running a coverage that didn't suit our personnel. We were basically trying to show and recover with guys like Timothy Mozgov and Kevin Love, and the only big man on our team that could run that coverage was Tristan Thompson. And so when we went to the drop coverage, Mozzie and Kevin Love were a lot better, and it didn't compromise the weak side of our defense. And then we just kept repping that coverage. Okay, this is what we got to do. We're better running this drop coverage. Now it's January, so we got like 40-something games left. And every game it was about repping that coverage, where those guys needed to be up at the screen, where they needed to be, where did the weak side help need to be. And you might lose a game or you might win a game and you say, hey, listen, our drop coverage wasn't great tonight. We need to come back and we need to fix X, Y, and Z. And as the season went along, that's why we were able to make that run that year in 2015. And those are the things that the really good teams do. They don't always worry about the W's and the L's. The execution and what you're building towards is way more important.
Why weren't you exposed on the weak side? Like, what was it about the other personnel that you had that you could play drop and not pay a price?
So when we were trying to run the coverage of we played a show and recover, where our big man would show out on the screen, and basically it's almost like a soft double team, and then the big would hustle back into the paint, or there would be a rotation. Well, the problem is Mozgov and Kevin Love are too slow to run that coverage. So when they would try to hustle back, it would take them too long. It would be 2 guys on the ball. The ball would get sped out to the other side, and we were giving up dunks and wide open corner threes. The last thing you want to do in the NBA is give up corner threes. Guys are too good to give them those shots. Yeah. But when we ran a drop, okay, Mozgov got to stay in front of the ball, and what we ended up giving up more of is contested twos. And that's what you want to give up. You want teams to take you get as many contested twos as you want. And so, like, guys would get in the pick and roll, and they would get downhill, and Mozgov had length, and Kevin Love would get some strips sometime, but it would basically force teams to take contested twos as opposed to wide open threes and lobs on the weak side.
Yeah. You still had the ball in front of you.
Exactly. We basically realized the foot speed of Kevin Love and Mozgov didn't fit that coverage. And once we did away with it, once Ty Lue did away with it, great coaching move by him, it allowed us to be a better defensive ball club.
Got it. All right. Before we go, you did, as you mentioned, you did the Georgetown-Clemson game. Georgetown won, and part of what we want to do here in Finding the Seams is keep an eye on what's going on, especially going on in the college game, especially because of the draft class that we're expecting to have coming out. So in doing those 2 games, who did you see that we could potentially see playing in the league next year?
I really liked there was a 6'4" combo guard, KJ Lewis. He started out at Arizona. He was a big time recruit, averaging like 19 points a game right now for Georgetown. So got to keep an eye on him. I thought he played great against Clemson. He did a great job defensively. He was active. He was driving the ball. He was hitting shots. And Coach Cooley just said the biggest thing about him is we want to give him the most confidence to be naturally aggressive on offense. And so right now his coaching staff is giving him the ultimate green light. And I'm seeing way more confidence than I saw him play with at Arizona. And now he looks like a different ball player. So for me, KJ Lewis, 6'4" combo guard, I think the arrow is pointing up.
What's tricky is because, as you mentioned, colleges play systems, and they can play systems that are going to feature one of their biggest talents, or the biggest talent. And that can sometimes disguise what they're capable of doing when they get to the NBA, when it's not a system for them. How, when you're looking at guys and trying to gauge whether they can play at the next level, what do you look for as the keys, the things that they have to have just to have a chance to make that jump?
I look at a lot of different things. It really depends on what type of position you're playing. If you're a big man, I look at, okay, do you shoot the corner 3 or the top of the key 3? If not, are you a lob threat? Are you a shot blocker? Also, if you're a big man, I look at how good are you in the pick and roll? How versatile are you? Can you run a drop? Can you switch on bigs, move your feet? Can you trap? That's what I look like for bigs. If you're a big man that's a scorer, like I look at how well do you do against other athletic guys and guys with length. Like I was watching Cam Boozer play, and I really like his game, but I was like, how is his game versus like when the athletes are there, sometimes the game is a little different for them. So
Yeah.
I look at those things for bigs. For guards, I look at how well you read pick and roll coverage, how well do you shoot the ball, decision making, obviously size, and then for wings, it's kind of easy. Are you a defensive guy? Are you an offensive guy? Or are you that 3-and-D guy? Are you a guy that they put the ball in your hands and you're 6'8" and you're special? Like, what I'm saying? Like, are you that type of player? Or are you a guy that is 6'8" and I don't really create a lot of shots on my own, but I'm athletic, I defend, I hit the corner three. That guy's valuable too. So there's a lot of different NBA traits right now that I'm looking for in different positions simply because
Yeah.
it's positionless basketball. And you got to be able, there's a lot of different ways to stick in this league. You can be a big time ball handler. You can be a big time defender. You can be a versatile defender. You can be a shot blocker. I just look at all that stuff.
Yeah. To me, it's the versatility and how much are you getting beyond what you're getting athletically. The guys that have the NBA athleticism can sometimes cheat the game at the college level and be really successful. And I'm thinking, you know what? And that's why I try not to gauge guys too much by what I see in college until I see them in summer league. Because summer league is where you kind of take away that physical advantage. Now you're up against all athletes, right? And now it's like, can you still get to your spots? Can you still get to a shot? What can you do when it's not the system just for you? And on average, Brendan, like a guy who has NBA athleticism, how many times during the year is he going to face another guy who has NBA athleticism?
Yeah, probably not that much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if
Maybe
you're a
half a
top,
dozen times at
yeah,
most.
yeah. And that's what I'm looking for. Like, if you're scoring the basketball, how are you scoring it?
Yeah.
Because certain scoring translates, and then sometimes I'll see a guy scoring the basketball, and I'll be like, he's a good scorer for college, but that
Mm-hmm.
guy's not going to be good enough to do that in the league. What else does he do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are you a scorer or are you a shooter? Can you shoot it too? Because some guys they're good with the ball in his hand. They're good when they get a rhythm, but they're not good when they like. These
Right.
are all the little things. But basically, to your point, how versatile are you is the key.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have
All
for
right.
this episode. And my lights broke down several times, but not your microphone. Your
Hey, man.
microphone was on point from beginning to end. We even had the family visit. Like this
Yeah.
was
Yeah. My daughter don't care we normally do this during the daytime, so she's a little hungry right now. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. It's about time for me to put her to bed in about 30 minutes. So she already knows what time it is.
well. We will let you get to it.
All
As
right.
always, Brendan, good times. We'll do it again next week.
All right.